This is our 15th lesson today, and in today's lesson we are going to look at the English sentence. As I mentioned in my previous videos and in the first lesson in this series, that our job, our aim is to learn how to write a sentence, and it is the most important thing that you are going to do or to learn in English, because if you can write one sentence, you can write a paragraph, you can write a composition, you can write an essay, you can write anything. Everything that you have learned so far was to achieve how to write a sentence. I mean, we learned different parts of speech, for example, noun, pronoun, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. All of these are used to create or to make a sentence, okay? And then we would be looking at what different types of sentences we have. What is the difference between sentence based on meaning, sentence based on structure? Yeah, so all of these things we are going to look at in this video today. This is going to be a very important video, so as they say, stay tuned. Right, so here's a challenge for you. What is unique about this sentence? So I will leave it for a second. You can pause the video and think about it. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay, so that's a challenge for you. Some of you might know, some of you might not. So if you know or if you don't know, please leave your comments in the comment section of this video. So what is unique about this sentence? Or I would expect your replies in the comment section. So let's move on. What's the definition of a sentence? Means what is a sentence? A series of words in connected speech or writing forming the grammatical complete expression of a single thought is known as a sentence. Or you could also say a sentence is a unit of speech consisting of a meaningful arrangement of words containing a subject and a predicate. For example, the cat sleeps in the sun. The exam was difficult. Now, these are two complete sentences, and they give us complete sense. The cat sleeps in the sun. We don't need any further information because it is a complete information. And the exam was difficult. It tells us about a thought, and that is a complete thought. So, to sum up, a sentence is a meaningful arrangement of words that gives us a complete sense. In these sentences, the subjects are in red and the predicates are in blue. Now that is the definition, or that is the requirement of a sentence. You must have a subject. I mean, sometimes in passive sentences you don't have the subject, but we still know that somebody has done something. And we must have a predicate, means a verb or a portion of sentence that has a verb in it. In this sentence we have sleeps as a verb. The exam was difficult, that's a verb. Now the verb is the soul of a sentence. Okay, without a verb there's no sentence. So this is the most important ingredient of a sentence. The subject is the noun or noun equivalent which carries out the action of a verb. And the predicate is the part of a sentence which says something about the subject, or it tells us about the action, or about its beingness. Now we will be looking at different kinds of sentences. The first one is sentences are classified according to their meaning and according to their structure. So we'll be looking at sentences based on their meaning and based on their structure. So these are two different divisions or categories. A sentence can be divided based on its meaning and structure. So let's look at the sentence from its meaning. Classification according to the meaning of a sentence. So here is a picture of, or what you call it, a chart or diagram. Now here we look at the sentence, and then we have, according to meaning, different categories of this sentence. So on this side of on this side you have different classifications, and on that side you have the examples of these different types of sentences. So first of all, we have affirmative sentence. Affirmative sentence is a sentence that states something, and it is positive. It does not say negative. It does not say not. The sun shines brightly. Okay, so it tells us about a fact. It gives us an information which is positive. Exclamatory. Exclamatory is something that exclaims, expresses a sentence which expresses feelings, emotions, surprise. Okay, for example, what a beautiful day it is. Now that sentence gives us an impression that it has been said with a pleasant surprise. Somebody is happy and somebody is enjoying this day, and that somebody has said, what a beautiful day it is. Maybe it's very sunny, maybe it's very pleasant. So that is exclamatory sentences for you. Imperative. Imperative means to give a command, to give an order. So leave the room immediately. Okay, now you could see that we have read three sentences. The sun shines brightly. It is a different tone. What a beautiful day it is. It has a different tone. And leave the room immediately. It has a different tone. Even if you don't know the actual means, classification, terminologies, you still can see that these three are said in a different situation, in a different tone, and you can sense what's going on behind. Okay, the next one is interrogative, which is a question. Who will ring the bell? Okay, so whenever you ask a question, that is, all of these are sentences. Remember, all of these are known as sentences, but this is an interrogative sentence, this is an imperative sentence. Okay, negative is something which negates something, which denies something, or which tells us that something is not happening. I don't like it. Now this person does not do the act of liking, so this is a negative. So in negative sentences you will have does not, don't, or never, these type of words. Conditional is, as the name is very clear, it is a condition. There would be a condition in a sentence that if this thing happens, that thing will happen. For example, if I go, I shall bring you books, means that if I don't go, I shall not be able to bring books. So if one thing happens, the other would happen. If one condition is fulfilled, the other will happen. So this is called conditional. And the last one is declarative. They work hard. Okay, declarative is more like affirmative. Affirmative is the opposite of negative, and negative is the opposite of affirmative. And declarative is very similar to affirmative. Declarative tells us, it just declares something, a state or a situation. They work hard. That's it. No judgments here. Now I would give you an exercise based on sentences and their meaning. The exercise is very simple, and it would give you some practice, and this is how you would keep everything in your mind or memory. Can you tell which one is which type of sentence? And please note that I have removed the end punctuation marks so that you don't get an idea, because if I put a question mark in front of a question sentence and exclamatory mark in front of an exclamatory sentence, then you can tell. So that's why I have removed every punctuation out, end punctuation. So these are the sentences. Okay, there's one more. Yes, I think one more. That's it. Right, so now these are the sentences. What you need to do is, in your notebooks, you copy these sentences, pause the video, stop the video, copy these sentences, and next to these sentences write what is exclamatory, what is which sentence is declarative, which sentence is affirmative, and then go back to the previous video and see whether how many of you got right. Okay. The next one is classification based on the structure of a sentence. Now once again, we have the sentence at the top of this hierarchy, and according to the structure we have simple sentence, we have compound sentence, we have complex sentence, and we have compound complex sentences. Okay, this is not a new category, the last one. This is basically the mix of these two. Okay, so technically speaking, we have simple, compound, and complex sentences. Okay, so now what is a simple sentence? For example, he lives in Scotland. Now a simple sentence must have only one verb, or it is a complete sentence. One main clause makes one simple sentence. A compound sentence: I am going to London today and I shall return tomorrow. Okay, so we could see that we have a conjunction which is and. Okay, so a compound sentence must have fanboys conjunctions. Okay, so as I mentioned in my previous video, that in English there are only 7 coordinating conjunctions, and they are fanboys. Okay, if you haven't watched my video, please go back and watch that first so that you understand what is a compound sentence. So if you have any of the fanboys conjunctions in any sentence, that would be a compound sentence. Now that is one thing. The second thing is when two of the simple sentences or more than two simple sentences join together in one sentence using fanboys conjunctions, that would be a compound sentence. For example, I am going to London today. This is one complete sentence. I shall return tomorrow. That is another complete sentence. So we have two main clauses, and two main clauses, at least two main clauses, make one compound sentence. The next one is complex sentence. So here's the example. He is the man who told me the whole story. Okay, so in this sentence we have one main clause and one subordinate clause. So he is the man is one main clause. Who told me the whole story? That's the subordinate clause. So a complex sentence would be one complete sentence, one incomplete sentence, one dependent sentence, one independent sentence, one dependent sentence. Okay, one main clause, one subordinate clause, whatever way is easier for you. So that's the complex sentence. The next one is compound complex sentence. So for example, I invited Kayo to the concert, but he could go to the concert if all of us were willing to accompany him. Okay, so I invited Kayo to the concert, one complete sentence, but he could go to the concert if all of us were willing to accompany him. He could go to the concert, second complete sentence or main clause. If all of us were willing to accompany him, that's the subordinate clause. So in this sentence we have two main clauses, one subordinate clause. It's a compound complex sentence. Now in a compound complex sentence you have to have minimum two main clauses. You can have one subordinate clause, you can have two subordinate clauses, you can have three subordinate clauses, it doesn't matter, but at least one subordinate clause and two main clauses make one compound complex sentence. Okay, I hope you understand that. Now on the next slide we have again some exercise for you. Okay, now what you need to do is write two sentences for each of the following in your book. So which means that altogether you have to write 8 sentences. So write two simple sentences. Try to write completely different. Okay, they shouldn't be linked. Okay, on two different topics. Two compound sentences and use fanboys. Two complex sentences, which means one main clause, one subordinate clause at least, and two compound sentences. Okay, try to write the compound complex sentence with two of them. One of them should be having at least one subordinate clause with two main clauses, and one of them should have two or more subordinate clauses with two main clauses, because you know that two main clauses is a must in this. All right, so that's all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.